Rain Lulamoon Phoenix Brown looks like a fun guy on Facebook, but is it all a facade? We're getting another look at Rain as he's booked into jail on charges of possessing a mountain of child pornography. I go through the disgusting claims made by detectives. Plus, you won't believe what Rain is studying in school. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. Before I get started on telling you about this really horrific case, I want to tell you about something I've been using that I really like. It's an app and it's called Upside, and it will give you cash back on things you buy every day, like gas, groceries, and takeout. Here's what you do. You download Upside for free, you claim an offer at one of their 100,000 plus locations, and you pay like normal with your card. Then you verify the purchase, and boom, you get money back. So say I need to get gas or I want takeout one night. I'll search for Upside offers first. After I spend, money appears in my app that I can then transfer straight into my bank account. Upside's frequent users earn an average of $254 back a year. So to start getting your cash back, click the link in the description or scan the QR code that you see right there on your screen and use our promo code CrimeFix to get an extra 25-cent bonus on every gallon on your first tank of gas. Rain Iona Lulamoon Phoenix Brown is a college student in the Cincinnati area of Ohio who's full of surprises. He's 24 years old, and his Facebook page is full of photos of him having fun at places like an amusement park, and he's hanging out with an a cappella singing group. In fact, Rain Phoenix Brown was majoring in music education, and his LinkedIn said that he was scheduled to graduate in May 2026. But it doesn't look like Rain is going to be making graduation after all, because Rain Phoenix Brown, he's in jail. This is video of Rain Phoenix Brown being searched during the booking process earlier in March. He's facing 3 serious felony charges: pandering obscenity involving a minor or impaired person, illegal use of a minor in nudity-oriented material or performance, and pandering sexually oriented matter involving a minor. Now, let me simplify this for you. These allegations all involve claims that Rain Phoenix Brown had child sex abuse material, also called child pornography, on his electronic devices. The investigation actually began in February 2026. In a police report an officer wrote on February 12th, we received a tip from a reliable, confidential source at the Evendale Police Department regarding the possible possession of child pornography located at a home. The reliable, confidential source advised that they heard the subject, Rain Phoenix, who resides at the home, having a conversation with another about pedophilia and possibly the possession of child pornography. Now, this prompted an investigation by detectives. How they investigated this tip and got probable cause to make an arrest, we don't really know just yet. But an investigation certainly took place, and what detectives claim they found is really, really disturbing. A detective wrote in an affidavit, on or about the last day of October 2025 at Hamilton County, Ohio, Rain Iona Lulamoon Phoenix Brown did knowingly possess sexually oriented material that shows a minor participating and engaging in bestiality. Phoenix Brown's mobile phone, iPad, laptop, and other electronic devices were seized during a residential search warrant in February 2026. Subsequent forensic examinations of the devices produced thousands of images depicting AI-generated minors in anime engaging in sexual acts. Numerous images of real-life small children were also found on the devices, including various photos of students from a verified local parochial school. Now, that last part is particularly concerning because it talks about real, living small children from a local private school that were found on Brown's devices. How did he have access to these students? We don't know, but it would appear the investigation is far from over. The detective also wrote in the affidavit that Rain was having conversations with people about child porn on platforms like Telegram and Discord. The detective wrote, during one such conversation on Telegram, Phoenix Brown says, "You gotta find like a 5th or 6th grader. You and I are gonna race to see who can deflower a virgin girl faster." The detective wrote that Rain then said, "Because I'm a pedophile times 3. Then the detective added that Rain said, "That's also the site I use to find diaper kids." The detective said Rain added, "I want to rape them." The detective wrote that Rain then received a photo of a minor in a bathing suit. Then the detective said that Rain told the other user, "I want to see her butt so bad." The conversation continued, according to the detective, with Rain writing, "God, it's been so long since I looked at kitty porn, but it's making me want to go find some again. If you find any, please send, and I'll send mine in the same case." The detective said Rain then received a photo of a clothed juvenile laying down on stomach. Other Telegram user then said, "I have dog porn." Phoenix added, "Send." Other Telegram user wrote, "And one that's like questionable." Phoenix Brown then responded, according to the detective, "Send." And then a video was received of a male canine and a minor female engaging in bestiality. Now, let me get back to that police report that I mentioned earlier. On March 13th, police wrote simply, "Suspect did knowingly possess material that shows a minor engaging in bestiality." That same day, Evendale police took Rain Phoenix Brown to the jail. He was searched and jail medical staff evaluated him for any issues and psychological risks. That's standard procedure, of course. And notice his pajama pants. They're Pokemon themed. Interesting, given detectives said they found pornography, some of it anime, on his devices. And I told you there's more about Rain Phoenix Brown. Well, it turns out he changed his name and has several times. I looked him up and his birth name is actually Brendan Lucas. He attended Catholic schools for much of his life, including a very prominent Catholic school, St. Xavier High School. And he changed his major at some point from music education to criminology. In May 2024, Rain posted on Facebook, "Final grade report for spring 2024, just 1B again, which is fine with me. Withdrew from some classes earlier this year since I switched majors back to criminology. Also, I know my live sound and lights grade was an A. It just doesn't show it yet. Glad to finish this year well." He's also posted on Facebook that he made the dean's list. You can't really make this up. So I'd like to bring in Dr. Debbie Goodman. She is a criminologist. And let me tell you, I really want to get your thoughts, Debbie, on this case. It's crazy to me that we have this Rain, Iona, Lulu Moon, Phoenix Brown, who's accused of these really gross child pornography charges. And he goes from a music education major to then what he says switching back to being a criminology major. As somebody who studies and is an expert in criminology, what are your thoughts on somebody who's accused of like having what he says is dog porn and stuff like this, studying criminology? What are your thoughts on that?
Wow, Anjanette, thank you and good morning. But what a disturbing, horrendous case we have here. And recall, we had a conversation recently, something very similar, right? The Tony McAllister, the Erica
Yes.
Grove, right? So, what do we call this in criminology? Really, two categories for the viewers to think through with us. And that would be not only pedophilia, but paraphilia. It would be zoophilia and bestiality. So we've got so much here in this very disturbing circumstance. And what's important to recognize too, Anjanette, is that these people deal with what I refer to as CPR. Their behavior, they take very methodical steps to conceal it. That's the C. The P is for planning. They're well aware of what they're doing and they go to great lengths to do it. And then the R is repeat. And so this is not something that just happens by, accident or a one and done type of situation. No. Once these people decide with their pedophilia and their paraphilia, which we know speaks to very intense sexual desires, that yes, they can control, but there's a lot of choice that goes into these types of crimes. And this individual and other individuals that we've discussed, and it's such a very deep and dark world of these people who are with intense attraction to children, to animals, but in a very sexually explicit way. It's heinous, but I don't want any anybody to think that this is something out of their control. It's absolutely within their control. And then you mentioned the idea about criminology, the fact that he's studying criminology. Well, who does that remind us of? A Brian Koberger. So
Right.
what we, right. So what we know about these people, believe it or not, Anjanette, is that as horrible and heinous and horrific as their behaviors are, there are still areas of their lives that are seemingly normal. You know, again, even if we look to somebody like a Ted Bundy, what was normal about him? He was a law student. We look toward John Wayne Gacy. What was normal about him? He volunteered at hospitals for sick children, dressing as a clown. Dennis Rader, very involved in the church and community. So it doesn't surprise me as a criminologist that we would almost have this balance, if you will, between the absolute sickening conduct and what these people are viewing in terms of imagery and video, and then seemingly normalcy. That, believe it or not, is normal for people like this.
So let's get into what a little bit of what police say he was viewing. I want to put up on the screen something from the affidavit. This is something that the detectives say they found on Rain Phoenix Brown's devices. And this is from the probable cause affidavit. It says the video Phoenix Brown requested and received showed a minor female, approximately 14 years old, engaging in a certain type of sex, anal sex, with a male canine. This is the bestiality stuff. The minor female appears to have braces, has a choker around her neck, and is wearing a t-shirt. When interviewed during the investigation, Phoenix Brown also described to officers a previous incident where he received a video of what he described as an approximate 4-year-old child engaging in sex acts with a grown adult. This is particularly concerning to me because it's just disgusting, first of all. Second of all, it's illegal. Third, he had photographs, the cops say, of children from a local private school on his phone. What say you?
I say it is absolutely vile, vulgar, and vicious. And so we will be hopeful that the criminal justice system will do what it does best with swift, severe, and certain penalty. And here's also what we know, Anjanette, about this individual and the thousands, unfortunately, thousands of other individuals like him, that there's progression with their behavior. What does that mean? That means that they will participate in viewing the images, and they will do this repeatedly. And then the progression comes. What's the progression? Then they will be viewing the videos, and that happens repeatedly. And then what's the third step? See, that's going to be interesting in this case and other cases as well. Did the individual himself actually participate in the vile and vulgar behavior? You see, that's the unknown at the moment with this case, unlike what we knew about the McAllister case and the Grove case, where there were multiple crimes because it was also involving participation with the minors and with the animals. So it is what these people do. They need to be locked up and put away, and they can control their behavior. They choose not to.
What's so stunning to me too is this. I did some digging and I found some information out. He changed his name. Whether or not it's been around long enough legally to be his name and be registered places is one thing, but on the court documents he goes by Rain Iona Lulu Moon Phoenix Brown, but in fact his name is actually Brendan Lucas.
Mhm.
He was born Brendan Lucas. That was the name his parents gave him, and he was a Catholic high school kid, went to a really prominent high school in the Cincinnati area. Also, was studying at this Catholic university, this college, and was studying music education. Then he goes into criminology. He's, part of this a cappella singing group. Looks like likes to have a lot of fun on Facebook. You talked earlier about people who have these very different parts of their lives, like a normal part of their lives, like the a cappella singing group, goes to school, gets good grades. Yet he's accused of possessing and viewing and exchanging all of these really disgusting images on the internet. I mean,
Mhm.
what do you make of that? And plus, I'm getting a little concerned that there may be more there if, maybe this investigation is far from over if he's had access to children at these local private schools.
Right, two very distinct areas to address. The first of which, what do we make of it? Believe it or not, as a criminologist, I am not surprised. Why? Because these people are very narcissistic, Anjanette. They're grandiose, they're manipulative. So the whole idea that he's changing his name, it's almost like he's changing his hats, his personality. He wants to be a student, he wants to be a singer, but he also wants to be a pedophile and he wants to engage in paraphilic behavior. And it's interesting also, right, that he lives with his mother. What is the percentages or percentile that mom knew? Probably zero. So these people are extremely excellent at projecting. See, it's all about projectability. They're projecting how they want to be, let's say, in the daytime and participating in the singing and being a good student and participating in community, and then the deep and the dark, and they go into this other type of hat that they wear of the pedophile. Remember what he said. He was involved in a chat, and according to investigators, he claimed that he's a pedophile times three. What does that mean? That
Ugh.
means he's horrendous, horrendous. But what it means, Anjanette, is what we've been saying. He recognizes who he is. He recognizes the desire, the impulsivity, but he wants to participate in it and he wants to continue to do it and he doesn't want to stop. And hence, he's a criminal. So we must address that appropriately. And thankfully, we hope that actual children have not been violated by him. We're not sure. I agree with you. I think this is a deeper dive also into his direct conduct beyond just the visuals, beyond just the videos, and beyond the chat. Did he actually participate? We need to know that.
I think we do need to know that. I think we need to know if he has acted on these impulses, especially with that chat that is included in the affidavit, which is really, really disturbing. And, he's obviously putting on a front here. I mean, he's hanging out at Kings Island at the amusement park. I mean, he's, looks like a fun guy, the pink hair and all that. He's into the Pokemon, the anime, all of this stuff. Right now, he has been indicted by a grand jury on those three counts: the pandering obscenity involving minors, the child pornography related charges. Uh, I would assume, though, that the investigation, the police investigation, is continuing, and they're looking into whether he has actually acted on his claims that he's a pedophile.
Yes, and I think that is the responsible thing to do. Remember the progression. I would be very surprised to think that he did not actually act on it because of, we're talking about hundreds of thousands of files, Anjanette. I mean, we read the same reports, and even if there were one file, guess what? One too many. It's still putting him in that category and caliber of a very sick individual. And the idea that he would even have the pictures of children at the parochial school, what might that suggest? It's almost similar to what was Koberger doing. Remember, he had other pictures of other females when,
Right.
the analysis there was these may have been the future victims. That's my thought. And, I'm chilled even thinking about it, but potentially those may have been children that he wanted to target and victimize.
It's really stunning. Everybody's innocent until proven guilty, of course, but the affidavit certainly doesn't look good for him. The grand jury indictment does not look good for him, and we will continue to follow this and see if there is more there. Dr. Debbie Goodman, thank you so much for your time and your expertise as always.
Thank you, Anjanette. My pleasure.
So, right now, Rain Phoenix Brown is in the Hamilton County Justice Center. He has a court date coming up very soon. He has a holder on him, so he can't really post any bail right now. And that's it for this episode of Crime Fix. I'm Anjanette Levy. Thanks so much for being with me. I'll see you back here next time.